Good morning, everybody, and guess what? We're back at it again. And as you can probably tell, we are wearing our big old heavy backpacks once again because we're getting back out on the trails for a little bit of backpacking. This time around, we're going to be following the north fork of the Skokomish River up about 15 miles to a place called Home Sweet Home. The trail starts out pretty easy, just following the Skokomish for about 10 miles, then it starts to climb a little bit. She's super excited about that part.
Not with this pack on.
Oh, like I was saying, we haven't been on the trail in a while. We didn't go backpacking at all in 21. So it's probably been, depending on how long it takes me to get this video ready, it's probably been almost 2 years exactly since our Lake Morganroth trip.
Yeah.
It's been super hot recently, especially in town. We're talking 90 plus degrees, which for Seattle is pretty damn hot. And this weekend, though, it looks relatively mild, so we're totally looking forward to it. The only part we're not really looking forward to is this part. Well, this is actually called Spike Camp, and it's one of the first official campsites along the North Forks Skokomish Trail that we're heading up. And we've been on the trail for a couple hours now. We're going to stop and have lunch. This is the one that likes the gourmet sandwiches. If you recall last time around, she had lettuce. What do you got in that bag?
Guacamole. Put lettuce and guac on my turkey sandwich.
Are we camping or is this frickin' Denny's?
Denny's.
There you go. Alright, so we are back on the trail from Spike Camp. So our next camp that we'll be passing will be Big Log, and that's about another 1.5 to 2 miles ahead. Yeah, looks like a tree
So
did a little bit of damage.
yeah. On that part.
Ready? Alright, so we've made it to another trail junction. The Black and White Way Trail. I believe there's a lake up there called Black and White Lake, oddly enough. Is that way. Big Log Camp is down in there somewhere. And according to the sign, we've gone just under 5.5 miles from the ranger station, which means we are about a third of the way. Check it out, Pete's Dragon. It's got an eye, some teeth, his nose, some more teeth. And I'm Pete. Ready?
Yep.
So if there's one thing I remember from the last time I was here, which was 4 or maybe 5 years ago now, I don't even remember. And it was the only other time I've been here, was this little glade that we're standing in right now. Super cool. These very large maple trees, and then cedar trees there, and some other fir trees. But would you look at that sucker right there? Let's walk underneath it real quick. But check this out. Wouldn't this be a place to camp? Just boom, you know. So we had a bit of an incident there. The river looks like it must have washed out a bit of the trail, and the detour, it looks like people just kind of made their own ways around it. And it's a little janky, so if you get to the point about a 1/4 mile before Camp Pleasant, that's what happens. So we've come up on Camp Pleasant. There's a horse camp right behind me there, you can see. And we're right here by the side of North Forks Skokomish. And rumor has it that this camp originally came about because there's a mine up in the hill there somewhere. We're coming along the trail here, still heading up towards 9 Creek, And this big tree, it looks pretty fresh too. That's fallen. It's bigger than her.
I think it's sounding in my head. Is it a bee or a fly?
No, it looks like a... Sorry, it looks like a fly. He's in your hair now. And take two. Click. So we were just marveling at this big, huge tree that's down right here. That was a big tree. It's taller than her. Super kudos to the Forest Service and the job they do back here. Even way back here, they come back with these big old saws and clean the trails up for us. Anyway. Bleep, 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 bleep. The bleep, bleep flies are bleep, bleep, bleeping us, so we're going to get the bleep on the bleep and bleep. Bleep. 8 stream. That means there's only 1 stream to go to 9 stream. Let's see what a nice day it's turned out to be too. Work harder, not smarter. Or, in her case, she took her pack off and tossed it over, and I climbed.
My way was better.
So, we've reached 9 stream, which means we are probably close to 10 miles back. I'm thinking might end up being our home for tonight. But it was a pretty ambitious goal anyway. The total trip would have been 15 plus miles. And yeah, each way. And the last 3.5, 4 miles of the trip up to Home Sweet Home has an elevation gain of about, I think it's just under 3,000 feet in 3.5 miles. So that would be a hell of a climb. Dog is it. Yeah. All right, so we've made it to Nine Creek Camp, and holy hell, we're bushed.
Yes.
And this is kind of feeling like home. And we've got ourselves an awesome spot. This spot is actually pretty kick-ass, so it's really not a bad thing. And man, my feet are hammered. Okay, we got camp set up, and we're warming up our water for our mac and cheese. This time we didn't forget the butter or the milk. Flashback. Dinner tonight was going to be mac and cheese, but we forgot something.
No butter, no milk.
So we're cooking up there. We've got our crap all sprawled out. Tent's over there. That's our drying tree over there, drying out cloths and unmentionables and socks. And the Skokomish River is just a couple hundred yards that way. So here we are, it's night 1, and we are at 9 Stream Camp instead of making it all the way up to either Two Bear or Home Sweet Home. How you feeling?
Good.
Yeah?
Just a little sore.
Yeah? Anything special about today?
I loved all the like little tree grove with all those gorgeous big knotty trees with all the ferns and stuff. It was beautiful.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That is a cool spot. It was something that I vividly remember from the last time here. We're a bit sore. Like we mentioned before, we haven't been backpacking since the last trip. And we also haven't been hiking as much this year. We've both been super busy with all kinds of things. And so we're a little bit out of it maybe. And like an idiot, I also forgot my brand new sleeping pad. It just came in the mail like 2 days ago, and then somehow I left it behind. So I'm all nice and sore and tired, and I get to sleep on the ground. For the first time in a really long time, she is actually getting a month off of work. And we're out here tonight, and all these damn mosquitoes, holy crap. And we were just talking about how just a week from tonight, we are going to be just outside of Clinton, Montana, on our way to Yellowstone. Oh man, so we moved into the tent because the mosquitoes are just terrible right now, which obviously we can't sit in the chairs in here, and we're both sore as hell. I'm in terrible shape right now. I can't sit cross-legged like she is. I can't kneel. Oh, this is bad. And I can't even sleep tonight because I gotta sleep in the dirt. Well, good morning, everybody. It is the morning of day 2, and what do you think? Did you sleep better than our last trip?
Oh yes, for sure. I was warm.
You were warmer? Yeah, so this time around we both bought new sleeping bags, nicer, warmer ones. Plus we're also sleeping on the ground and in a tent versus the last time sleeping in those hammocks where we froze. Cue flashback. After about 2 a.m. it gets super cold, and the lesson learned about hammock camping, that cold air going underneath you is, yeah, it just saps you cold. It feels like you're just laying in cold water, man. One other thing, however, too, is we are a lot less elevation than we were the last time as well, and that could have a big thing to do with it. I think we're probably a couple thousand feet less than where we were up there in Seven Lakes Base. And we're feeling a little better than we were last night. So that begs the question of what we want to do today. So when you're out here in the backcountry camping, you have to manage your food. Your food wrappers, your trash, even toiletries or anything that smells like food or would smell interesting to any kind of wild animal, you need to hang. At this campground, we have actually provided bear wires, which we didn't have at the last one. Cue flashback.
So Peter's making our bear wire. Putting it up on this tree was interesting. Too bad we didn't get it on video.
Yeah, I was climbing it and she was literally holding my ass in the tree. But this one we do have provided bear wires, so we're hanging all our food because we're going on a little day hike that I'll explain here in just a minute. So the bear wire works a lot like putting a flag up a flagpole. So there's our food hanging a good 15 feet up above our heads. Around here we mostly have black bears, and they usually aren't dangerous to humans, really don't care much about us because they don't associate us with food. But if they do get the taste of human food and the smell and begin to associate humans with food, it could become dangerous. So we decided we're going to day hike up there. So we've packed up our chairs and some food and some other crap, and we're going to hike up to that meadow up there. Home sweet home. And we left most of our gear back at camp because we're coming back here. And so my pack, probably about half the weight it was yesterday. Maybe closer to 20 pounds than the 40 pounds plus I think I had yesterday. I think we're heading up kind of over that hillside there, up where the meadow is that Home Sweet Home is in. So that's called First Pass. And yes, the trails already got noticeably more steep and noticeably less worn and traveled. We've ran into a bit of a washout slash blowdown here, and looks like there's a little bit of a path going down there and then scrambling back up that pretty steep looking bank there to get back on the trail. It's either that or try to squeeze up through there.
I'm gonna squeeze.
She's gonna squeeze,
yeah.
But she's a lot smaller and doesn't have a big pack. I think I'm gonna try going down there. All right, well, That would have sucked with a full weight pack, I think. So there's another spot. Looks like this big giant tree right here went down and took out a lot of the hillside with it. I could see the rest of the trail continuing up that way, but we need to probably get over this and then continue on the trail down there to the switchback to get up there, rather than trying to climb that loose rock. Alright, so we've reached Two Bear Camp now, which is a tiny bit more than halfway up the pass, but I think, as far as what it looks like on the map, we've done the harder part of it. Two Bear Camp, it's not very big. There's a pretty big spot here for probably a couple tents, and maybe another down there by the creek, and then there's one more small one just up there, and there is a bear wire. I'm not sure if it's functional, and that's about it for Two Bear Camp. I just noticed these scratch marks on this tree. They're old and they look a little patterned to be made by an animal, but sometimes bears, like cats, they kind of shed their outer claws when they grow, and so they scratch on things like cats do. And we've pretty much reached the top of First Divide, or First Pass, or whatever it was called, and now we're getting to see what it's all about. We've made it up First Divide. Looks like a brand new sign, and 4,688 feet. So that's what all that climbing was about. And I believe Home Sweet Home is down there, which makes me a little bit hesitant to want to go down there and then back up. We'll see how steep it is. Well, here we are on top of First Divide. We're having lunch, and of course the lunch of hikers everywhere, ramen. And that's why I carried the pack up here, up with us here today, so that we could have our chairs, lunch, and just a few other creature comforts.
Just look at how pretty it is. The wildflowers. So here we go, back on down, leaving behind this lovely little meadow area up here. So we just came on another tree here that looks like it has some scratch marks on it, and these definitely do look like scratch marks. Like this here looks a lot like bear ran his claws across that a couple of times. You can see the definite start and kind of an arc down. And this one here, again, going like that. These ones are much more fresh too. Good evening, everybody. We just finished having our cream of potato soup. Is that what that is?
Not cream of potato, it's potato soup.
You might be noticing we're wearing these funny things on our heads, and that's because tonight seems even worse than yesterday, but the mosquitoes are out in force, and the bugs have been out all day, and I think it has to do with the heat. It's been super warm lately, which unfortunately the bugs like it just as much as we do. We had a pretty decent day today. We made it up to the First Divide. That was a pretty hike. There was a few sketchy spots like you saw, but well worth it. Well worth it. What do you think?
But it was a beautiful, really beautiful hike in that area.
We made that choice to not go all the way down into the basin because we got to make the same hike that we made up back out tomorrow. Well, good morning everyone. It is morning of day 3. We've just packed all our crap up and we've got that lovely, what is it, 10.5-ish mile hike to get back out of here and back to the car. So to us here in the Northwest, this is pretty typical, so we don't really think a lot about it because we get, you know, tons of rain around here and the rivers rise up and we get lots of erosion and what are called blowdowns and washouts. Oh. That was fun. All right, we've reached the little cutoff to Big Log Camp, which is roughly the halfway point, and we're making pretty good time, I think. We've been on the trail for about 2.5 hours, and according to the sign over there, we've got about 5.3 more miles to go back to the ranger station, obviously where the car is. And I haven't been showing a lot on the way down because unlike the other hike we did that was a loop, we're walking through the same area. We're just taking a quick little detour to the Staircase Rapids Suspension Bridge.
The suspension bridge is part of the Staircase Rapids Loop Trail. It's just over 2 miles long and is kid-friendly. It's a very popular and beautiful place for people to come when camping nearby.
This is a site for sore eyes and feet and muscles and backs and everything.
Yes.
But we made it back to the car. And you ready to go home?
Yep.
Yep, me too.